Hello, Oracles! Oracle Tim here from Oracle Investments. I hope everyone here in the US had a wonderful holiday weekend, and those of you around the world, I hope you had a wonderful weekend as well. Well, we've had quite a bit of news over the last few days that will affect the stock market and Tesla in particular. So let's get into what to expect tomorrow when the market opens. Well, for those of you who haven't heard, we have a new COVID variant out there. And this obviously put a drag on the market, especially in those travel stocks and that nature. So the stay-at-home stocks did well. News about this is obviously all of the vaccine manufacturers are already testing to see the efficacy level of their vaccines based on the new variant. So until that news comes out, we may have a little uncertainty in the market. All of them are already working on a new booster or vaccine formula in order to combat this, which they say should be out by March, which is honestly incredibly fast. So if that's the case, that could settle the market down and make it a little happier. And now the COVID news brought the market down on Friday, but don't forget that Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, it was a half day. It's a low volume day, so when you see downward pressure like that, it's magnified because it's low volume. And I don't have a crystal ball, I'm not psychic, but seeing as we sold off as much as we did on Friday, we have been frothy, but we did sell off a bit on Friday. We might see a little bit of a rebound tomorrow with a lot more volume coming in. So just pay attention to that. If you have a lot of buying pressure volume coming in, that's just going to reiterate the bullish market that we are in. So now to get into the Tesla specific news and how that will trade tomorrow. Well, Shanghai announced that they are going to be expanding their factory by 4,000 workers. You know, the size of the factory and 4,000 workers, thinking about their current staff right now, that's like a 25% increase in staff. And so while we have Shanghai producing on pace a production rate of about 650 to 700,000 vehicles per year, you increase the staff by that much, which means that you're going to be increasing the volume production. Even if you go at 10%, you're pushing over the 700 to 750,000 vehicle unit mark, and rumor has it that Shanghai is on pace to be producing over 1 million units by March. And so that rate is really going to just continue to ramp. So it's not like, hey, we've hit max ramp. I mean, look at Fremont. Fremont continues to ramp and increase despite the fact that they're in an older facility that everyone thought was capped on production volume. New facilities like Shanghai, and especially then Austin and Berlin, are going to be in situations where they can just continue that ramp up process on a much smaller footprint with less people, so it's going to be even more cost effective as well. And now there was a report that came out of Shanghai saying that they are producing 1,600 Model Ys a day and 2,000 Model 3s per day. Now the report did say that they can produce that. Whether they are actually producing that or not, I don't know. I don't know how much truth there is behind this. Perhaps this ties in with the expansion that we were just talking about. So perhaps this report is because with the expansion, they now have the capacity to produce that many vehicles, which would be about 1.3 million. And if you're looking at, if they were thinking about 1 million in March, push this to, Q3 of next year, and that could be potentially the true number. But I don't know as if they're actually producing that number now. And regardless of whether it's now or next year that they will hit this number, it just proves Tesla's ability to quickly ramp. Because think about this, they're doing this in Shanghai. They're only going to be better in Austin and Berlin. So just think about the speed of ramp that they will have in those two factories once they get up and running. And now switching gears over to Berlin, they turned down a $1 billion loan to help with their battery factory. Now, there's a lot of reports that are saying that, Tesla was denied this. It was like, but why would they be granted this and then have it taken away? But Elon did tweet and say that in terms of loans like this, the onerous terms exceed the money received. My thought is Elon has had this happen in the past, as he says in his tweet. And I'm thinking that it's sort of like, anybody here in the US who has student loans. You get your student loan and you end up paying more than double that by the end. So in the long run, was it even worth it? And I think that's where Elon's coming from. And he's probably thinking, we've got the money right now. We don't need this. Whatever terms are in there, it's just not worth it for them to do it. It's better for Tesla to say, you know what, we owe nobody anything, we'll do it ourselves, we don't need you, and just make it happen. And I'm sure his disgust with how slow the Berlin factory ramp and opening is going, he probably wants nothing to do with the German government and says, you know what, this is the way you guys operate, that is not the way we operate, we don't want to do business with you. And as I was doing a little research on this, I kind of had a little light bulb go off about the reasons why the German Berlin factory are so slow to open. And part of it makes me wonder if the German government and VW and BMW have some connections similar to the UAW and the US government. And, they're doing whatever they can to slow down the progress of getting Giga Berlin open because of a bit of corruption. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on that. That's just my little speculation and looking into this and thinking that might be what is going on here. And that's probably also why we see Herbert Diess, who is like, dude, Tesla is leading the way. We need to listen to what they have to say. While the rest of Volkswagen's like, hey, Herbert, no thanks, get out of here. We're going to do it our way and deal with the government and just corruptly push Tesla aside. Next, we'll talk about the 12/9 rumors. Lots of people think that 12/9 is the day a split is coming. I'm wondering if maybe that's the day they're going to announce November sales numbers, because it was November 8th, I remember because that was my birthday, that they came out with China's sales numbers for October. So maybe Elon knows that the China sales numbers are going to be incredible for November and was kind of leading us on to say, hey, 12/9, we're going to the moon because China's sales numbers are going to exceed everyone's expectations. And there was also a tweet out there pointing out that 12/9 is International Anti-Corruption Day. So that is a huge light bulb because, yeah, Elon definitely knows what that's all about. And that could be a huge reason why 12/9 was a big number for him. And maybe he's going to do something on that day to celebrate and shove it in their faces. We shall see. And finally, one of the biggest pieces that can directly affect Tesla's stock price is Elon's sales. Currently, he has exercised 8.5 million shares of his options that are expiring in August of 2022. And now every single time he has exercised a batch, it has been about 2.1 million shares. And at the same time, he has sold 934,000 shares to offset that for tax purposes. And now he has consistently sold off a lot per week. 2 weeks ago, he actually sold off 2 lots of that amount. So if he does 1 per week, that means he has 7 lots left. And that would be 7 weeks left of him exercising these options and selling off the 934,000 shares, which takes us until January 10th if he holds true to this pattern that he is in. And that would mean that he has 6.5 million shares left to sell. Now that is based off of the stock options. If you go on the 10% that he was talking about, if we're going by the 17 million shares that he would have to sell, that means that he has 7.8 million shares left to sell. Now there is a difference in this. So that's about 1.3 million shares that he would have to sell outside of the exercised options sales. When that's going to happen, if that's going to happen, nobody knows other than Elon, of course. But based upon what he has told us and what he wanted to do for the 10%, there would be an extra 1.3 million shares that he would sell outside of the shares that he needs to sell for tax purposes on his options. So what Tesla stock is going to do tomorrow, I don't know. A lot of the news that came out about Shanghai, about the turning down of the $1 billion for Berlin's battery factory, that all came out after hours. So between that and the COVID variant thing, we may see a bit of a rebound tomorrow, but we also may see Elon selling some shares. Honestly, don't know. I'm going to continue with my strategy because I don't have a crystal ball. My psychic ability meter is broken, so I lost ability to see the future. I'm just going to continue to purchase if it dips down. Part of me hopes that it dips a lot so I could buy more at a lower price, because I know going into the end of Q4 we're going to see quite a boom and the stock price is going to go way up. So the less I can buy it for now, the better return on my investment I will have in the short term. Long term, either way, we're going to be awesome. Let me know in the comments below what you think Tesla stock is going to do tomorrow. Let me know if you think Elon's going to be selling tomorrow or at all this week, and how much longer you think it'll be before he is done with his sales. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. We are 1 subscriber away from 1,500. I would have had on my Hawaiian shirt, but I know in our next video I will have that on to celebrate 1,500. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the feedback. I've got my new setup for the studio here, so I'm going to be trying some new things. Definitely give me feedback because I've never done it with the programs I'm going to be using. So I may have some errors. Let me know the feedback so I can make this better for you guys and your viewing experience. Thank you all so much. We will see you later.